I am just flying around looking for a place for our potato cannon arena. After that, I have got a big beast of a machine to build. I'm hoping it comes out okay. It's a monster. We're going to be generating rose quartz, and it is no simple project, let me tell you that. But first, we got to find a place for our arena. Well, the basics of the arena are done. It's now ready for us to come on in and place whatever we want into our own little sections in preparation for the big battle. Let's take a look around and see what we've done. So as you can see, we've got 3 portions of the arena here. DioSil, HypnoJoe, and myself will each take one portion and build all sorts of stuff within it. I put up these wood logs as a bit of a privacy screen for us and gave us the rule, no peeking allowed. So when it comes time for the battle, we will take down these logs. And if all goes well, I've hooked up a little system that should take care of it. Each wall of logs has the saw attached to them. When we're ready, we're going to come in, pick up our keys right there, place them on the saw, and take down the walls. I've hooked up this max level windmill here to give us 8,000 stress units of power if we need it for anything. Hopefully that'll be enough to handle our power needs out here, but if we need more, we'll make more. So this is my side of the arena. I'm going to get started on this soon, but not right now, but let's take a look at my safe area. First of all, if we're in battle and we come to a black door, we can't go in it, even if it's our own, because this is our safe off-limits area. This is where we store our extra gear, set our spawn, sleep when we need to, and if we lose a battle, we can come back and hang out on the wall and watch things as they progress. Here we have DioSil's safe area. As you'll see, I made all of them a little bit different, so they're unique, but they all have the same amenities. Right here, these are Potato Recovery 3 books. I've got a librarian in the train now selling these, so I thought I would do a good deed and give a couple to DioSil and HypnoJoe. And finally, here we have HypnoJoe's safe spot. A little cramped in here, but he can take it. Not trying to throw him off his game at all, of course. Take advantage of his claustrophobia. He just had such limited space to put his safe spot in out here. With the arena now ready to accept construction, I am on to my next project. It's back to Skybase. Let's go. And this beauty here is the Rose Beast. I call it that because it is a monster of a machine. Its main purpose is for generating rose quartz. Now let's take a look at this mess and see what everything does. So it all starts off right here with a cobblestone generator. We can also throw any material we want in here and the machine will place it wherever it needs to go, and if it's not something that belongs, it'll toss it into a discard box. As the cobble generates up top, it gets broken and placed into this vault. Once in the vault, it gets kicked out into these grindstones. As you can see, we got some gravel there that is part way through the process. These first grindstones turn the cobble into gravel. The second ones turn the gravel into sand with the byproduct of clay balls and flint. And as you can see, we've already been generating some just in testing the machine and dialing everything in. It's kind of hard to see in there, but the sand gets separated out and then moved in between those soul campfires. Fans are blowing on them and haunting the sand. And when the sand becomes haunted, it turns into soul sand. It works its way through this storage here and into the next section if needed. In this next section, you can see some soul sand right there and fans and water. We're washing away the soul sand to get the material inside. What is that material? Well, it's golden nuggets, and you can see we've got some already, and quartz. The main focus here. This was the best way to get quartz, and quartz is what we need for our rose quartz. Right here you can see we've currently got 2,300 and something in there in storage already. And the way this works is the quartz will come out here up this conveyor and it will go into this basin. But this basin will fill up and we have a bit of a bottleneck here that I'm going to talk about in a second. But once this basin is full, quartz will start to build up on the conveyor belt. When it does, I have a hopper pulling it into the vault. That way it doesn't lock up the machine and we can keep generating more quartz for all sorts of other stuff. Once it has enough quartz and redstone here, this mixture goes to work and it'll then spit out rose quartz onto this conveyor belt, which goes into these tunnels. The tunnels split the rose quartz evenly from one side to the other. Any rose quartz that ends up on this side gets stored here as rose quartz. And the reason we're collecting this, if we put it in a stone cutter, you can see we get these blocks. There, you see them right there. Looking pretty good. The other half of the rose quartz ends up on this conveyor. And if we creep in here with FreeCam, you can see we've got a deployer up here with sandpaper in its hand. The rose quartz that comes on this conveyor will get sandpapered by that sandpaper and then sucked into this vault right there. Any material that doesn't belong ends up in this barrel or this vault. Pretty handy. And the machine is also ready to accept and craft iron sheets, which end up in this vault because they're combined with the polished rose quartz to make electron tubes, which we will need a lot of. But we don't want them all turned into those because they also have their own blocks they can be turned into, as you can see right there. Now sandpaper, it goes quick. It can only polish 8 rose quartz at a time, so I hooked up this vault here that I store sandpaper in to keep the machine running, and it's currently got 171, so that'll last a while. And there's plenty of space, and I've got plenty of materials that I could fill this thing up with sandpaper and not ever have to worry about it again, which is what I'll probably do. Now back to the bottleneck of redstone. To make rose quartz, it only takes 1 quartz, but it takes 8 redstone. And I'm not generating it here. As you can see, that's a big problem. And redstone's fairly limited for us at this point. Deosil's actually making this amazing redstone generator, which inspired me to make one of my own to hook up to the system. But we're not going to do that today. Dio will be doing a tutorial on his redstone machine though, so I highly suggest keeping an eye out for that because it is amazing and super useful. And it's pretty crazy how it's made. But for now, we're going to take a look at this thing in action. This is the power switch right here. Let's turn it on, get everything spinning. Now the machine works pretty fast, so once I throw the redstone dust in it, it's going to fly down this belt and we'll run down there and try to catch everything happening. And there we see it's mixing away, and right there we have redstone going into the tunnel and getting polished. And it has already went through those 2 stacks of redstone in no time. That's because it takes so much redstone. But we've got a little more of each, and once we have our redstone generator hooked up to this thing, the sky's the limit. The Create mod is so amazing. I mean, look at what's going on here. You know what else is super amazing is the Better Minecraft mod pack. I hardly know what's in it and I already love it. And I recently had my first ever experience in Better Minecraft, not to mention my first ever experience in hardcore. If you want to see what happened, check out that video right there. It's pretty crazy, let me tell you. But for now, I've got some work to do out here. I've got a redstone generator to prep and my arena side to build. So I gotta get to work. But as always, thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see you next time. Later.